In this video, we will be discussing the Spanish Inquisition. First, we will talk about the reality of what happened, and then how it became a bit of a legend, even if the myth portion has subsided in today's time. So let's start by going back to 1391. Now this time, Spain is actually a few kingdoms and won't be joined together until 1469, when the two largest kingdoms merge through marriage. That said, the geopolitical is brewing. For various reasons, including neighboring borders and wars, the area of Spain at this time is tolerant and has Muslims and Jews living in the kingdom. Other areas of Europe have long since expelled Jews. England did in 1290 and France did in 1306. As you can imagine, anti-Semitism is on the rise. It's summertime in Spain in 1391 and mobs have formed in Barcelona and other towns. They go around and they round up Jews and give them two options: get baptized or die. You can imagine what most choose. Well, the church is clear that forced conversions don't count, and the king of this area has no interest in this. So he tells the forcibly converted Jews they may return to the religion. Most don't, though, and remain Catholic for mostly obvious reasons, including lower taxes. So the king basically considers these converts Jewish, and the rabbis consider them Jewish as well. That said, as time progresses, these converts become actual Catholics, and not just pretend. Also, in 1414, there's a public debate between Jewish and Christian leaders. Even the Pope attends. On the Christian side, debating is a Jewish convert to Christianity, who is also a physician. After this debate, over 3,000 Jews convert in Aragon alone. By the mid-1400s, things are not the status quo. There are many Jewish converts who are now Catholic, however they live in the same customs as their Jewish heritage. Some are even bold enough to claim superiority to the Gentiles, as they are related to Christ through blood. Meanwhile, these converts' wealth and power is growing. All this leads to a new myth of the secret Jew that is going to overthrow everyone. The conspiracy theory permeates throughout the area. In 1478, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella are convinced the secret Jew conspiracy theory is worth investigating, and the Inquisition is set up to rid out the heretics. Some speculate another reason for the Inquisition was to stop locals from trying to take the law into their own hands and stop unjust executions. Either way, the Inquisition had little to do with suppressing cultural diversity at the higher levels. Once these tribunals get started, both Jew and Christians use them to attack the converts. Then things continue to unravel, and in 1492 and 1502, Jews and Muslims are ordered to convert or leave Spain. While the Inquisition hit a fever pitch in the 1500s and slowly toned down to being mostly censoring books, it technically lasted over 400 years. Ultimately, 3,000 to 5,000 people were executed. Now, just as a reference point, in 1512, Ponce de Leon claims to have fought over 10,000 people in just one battle in Puerto Rico. And as a result of the Spanish in the Caribbean, up to 3 million of the Taino people are thought to have died from war, smallpox, and slavery. And this is one of the smaller conflicts you will find of the over 80 wars and conflicts Spain was in during the period of the Inquisition. And all those wars had nothing to do with the Inquisition. Now, the Inquisition did charge 150,000 people with crimes, but there was only a small number of executions. The Inquisition also censored books. Initially, they would just be banned, but later they would just have the blasphemous lines removed. This censorship, however, had a small impact on books in Spain, as it was hard to enforce and most scientific books were not censored. So why did the Spanish Inquisition become so infamous? Well, a lot of that has to do with the Black Legend. The Black Legend is a bunch of propaganda that came out in the 1500s to demonize Spain. In the 1500s, the Italian peninsula was viewing Spain as a threat. Remember, at this point, Sicily is a territory of Spain, and so is portions of Italy. So this whole area does not like the Spanish. In Sicily, there's a revolt against the Inquisition being brought there in 1511 and 1526. In Naples, mere rumors of the tribunals coming caused riots in 1547 and 1564. The regional view around Italy was mostly that the Spanish only needed the tribunals because they naturally were more prone to heresy because they had spent centuries mixing with Jews and Muslims. So you can see why in that region playing up myths about the Inquisition would be well received. Then there's the Protestants in Northern Europe. Spain didn't have many Protestants and was a Catholic stronghold, so there was already a natural conflict between Protestants and Spain, as it represented the Catholic Church by proxy. Also, don't forget the Spanish Empire was growing and many felt threatened. Now, the Inquisition ends up executing a very small number of Protestants. This only solidifies the idea that Spain and Catholicism are one and the same. Now, the Protestants had huge success using the press to disseminate their message, so they soon used the same means to go after the Spanish, using propaganda about them. In 1563, Book of Martyrs by John Foxe is published in England. It chronicles the sufferings of Protestants against the Catholic Church. This has an entire chapter dedicated to the Spanish Inquisition. It was also heavily circulated for years with multiple editions. In 1567, the book Exposition of the Arts, the Spanish Holy War by Antonia del Cora is published. It is a huge success with 2 versions published in English. The book is the mostly true story of prisoners and is related sympathetically to the reader, and goes through the process and interrogations. The officials are shown as being evil, and he presents some of the most extreme tactics as being commonplace in Spain. All of these things only fuel the Black Legend. It becomes a myth of the Spanish being utter barbarians who love torturing people. Now, the Spanish Inquisition was certainly horrible. However, it got exaggerated into being something that didn't happen. These exaggerations or myths have significantly receded, but occasionally they still creep up in today's world. If you like our videos, go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and we'd love to hear back from you guys, so feel free to leave your thoughts down below in the comments section.